Hey, everybody. There's obviously not going to be anyone in the chat just yet because this has only just started. But for those of you who don't know, and I hope a fair number of you do, I was recently wounded. I fell and landed with my hand like this. And the thing about that is it makes it very difficult to use this without pain. And so I haven't been doing videos lately, and it's actually difficult to play video games even. And I have a cat licking my elbow. So I'm doing a live stream here instead of making a regular old video because, well, I don't have to actually use the mouse. I've got a bunch of people saying hi. Hey, everybody. So, yeah, well, I don't really have much of a topic to talk about just yet. I have a few in mind, but let's wait for a few more people to show up. One thing I'm not sure about is whether or not this is going to be a drunken stream or not, because those are fun. You have to admit, those are fun. But at the same time, well, I actually have not sampled booze in a while, so I'm not sure how good an idea that's going to be. Anyway, looks like there's a couple of people watching this already. So let's start a topic here. Now, there have been some things going on lately in the atheist community, mostly with me and someone else, that I'd kind of like to talk about. See, the thing is, I'm not going to name any names or nothing, but there's a topic that's been coming up and I wanted to talk about it and was told that I would be disruptive talking about it. But the truth is that I had something to say that I think could have helped. Because you see, the topic was basically about atheists and theists and whether or not, like, how to express each other's side, basically. And the thing is, though, that that wasn't the only thing that was being discussed. In fact, the two sides of it were basically talking at cross purposes to each other. You see, the way some people were talking about it was sort of like, okay, here's what a theist believes. And here's an atheist reacting to it. But the thing is that it was being treated like that atheist who's reacting to it has to have a counter argument. Like, just even saying, I am not on the theist side for whatever reason, you then have to argue for why atheism is true as well, and that doesn't really work. It's not a good way to have that conversation, because someone can be an atheist and not have to argue that religion is false. You can just say, I'm not convinced by the theist, and so I continue to not believe. But the thing is that a lot of the folks on the other side who weren't looking at this as a debate were clearly, at least as far as I could tell, and it was certainly my own position, they were talking more about, I want to call it religious taxonomy. The basic idea was, we're looking at subject X. Let's just say subject X. And that subject is, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a human, it could be an animal, it could be an inanimate object. It doesn't matter. But we're looking at that particular subject and looking at the traits that it possesses. And specifically, since we're talking about theism and atheism, we're looking at how many gods does subject X believe in. And if the answer is one or more, they're a theist. If the answer is zero, or heck, if they're against the existence of a god, then they're an atheist. We're basically drawing Venn diagrams and seeing what fits into that. Because you have, on the one hand, here's all the people who do believe in a god. And then on the other hand, you have the entire rest of the universe that doesn't believe in a god. And so that's sort of like what people were doing. And within those different circles of the Venn diagram. You'll have on the inside of them, like, here's all the religious groups. You'll have the people who believe in the Abrahamic gods. You'll have the Norse gods, the Greek and Roman gods, various Asian gods, which honestly I'm not very well versed on. And then you'll have like the Egyptian gods and all of that. And then even within those spheres, let's just take the Abrahamic gods. You've got the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, and let's just look at the Christians. You've got what? Protestants, Catholics, Lutherans, Baptists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's going to be some overlap within those categories. There's definitely going to be overlap. But the point being, though, is that all of them are in their own separate category. And then over here on the atheist side, you'll have those who have thought about it. Or no, I take that back. You'll have those that are capable of believing in a God, and then all those that aren't. So on the one hand, where they aren't capable of it, you'll have like rocks, plants, empty space, stars, etc., anything that doesn't have a brain enough to think of it. And then on the other side, you'll have those who have a brain, but there's some who've considered it and some who haven't considered it, maybe because they're unable. I mean, take, for example, various animals, babies who haven't developed enough yet. Oh, who the hell is this? Okay, you, my friend, are getting kicked. Let's see, hide you on this channel. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, where was I here? Oh, yeah. So you've got all of those. And then you'll have those who have the ability to consider whether or not a God exists. And then you'll have those who have heard of the concept and those who haven't, because there is that one tribe. What are they, like pixies or some pygmies or some shit, where they'd actually never developed religion. And it wasn't until like the outside world found them that, I mean, maybe they've heard about it, maybe they were told, I don't know, but they had never considered it. The person who got kicked, they were posting all of these like weird Asian messages that went like really long, and I figured they're out of here because I can't. I mean, I don't speak, or rather, I don't read kanji. I can sort of read hiragana and katakana, and it was Japanese, but they just seemed to be spamming the channel. That's who got kicked. Yeah, pixies. Anyway, so then you've got those who have heard of the concept and, let's say, don't care, totally apathetic. And then you've got the ones who've considered it. And those are the ones who've thought of, like, they've looked at the various religions, looked at the evidence, looked at the arguments for their truth, and found it wanting. And then even within that circle, you'll have those who, again, don't care. You'll have those who are anti-theists, who think that it would be horrible if a God did exist. And then you'll have hard atheists, soft atheists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole point is that what one side of that debate was doing was, like I said, religious taxonomy. They were trying to classify everything, regardless of the argument. Forget whether or not, like when the people who've considered the arguments that theists present and found them inadequate, it doesn't matter why they found them inadequate when you're just classifying them, because, like I said, this isn't a debate yet. And so basically it was what makes something an atheist and what makes something a theist, and how do you put someone in those groups. And I think that's what the two sides were doing, but they didn't quite realize it, and they were talking at cross purposes. And I saw that happening. I was pretty sure that's what was going on. And so I wanted to jump in and say, guys, look at what you're doing. You're not talking about the same thing. But I was not allowed to do it. I was actually being completely ignored. And that kind of stuck in my craw a little, because I wanted to participate. I wanted to help, but I was not able to. And that kind of bugged me a little. Oh, good. I can pop out the chat. That'll make it a lot easier to see what you guys are saying, because honestly, it was way over to the side, and I couldn't read you. So there's that. Another thing that I was thinking of recently that's completely unrelated to that is that I genuinely want to know whether a theist can understand why an atheist finds their position difficult to believe. I mean, again, forget making this a debate yet. I just want to know if a theist can look at an atheist position and go, okay, yeah, I get why you might not believe in a God. Like I can see, okay, how many of you have seen the movie Jesus Camp? Right? Because there's that one scene with this one kid. He's got the microphone and he's saying it is really difficult sometimes to believe in a God. It's hard to do because you don't see him. And then he says, like, and it makes me a faker. And it's almost heart-wrenching what this kid is saying. It's clear that he's having trouble. And I mean, that's part of it for an atheist is you just don't see God. And I've never really met a theist, like an actually believing theist, who has said that they get it. That it's like, yeah, okay, you don't see God, you can't experiment on God, you can't verify it, you have to have faith. I can see why that might be difficult for you because most of them are like, well, suck it up, pal, right? And that's I don't think that's very conducive to discussion. Now, granted, that has to go both ways. It really does. I've tried as hard as I can to empathize with the theist position, but I don't even know if I'm getting it right. I mean, for example, like death is a scary thing. The idea of believing in an afterlife, that death isn't the end, I just I mean, it's got to be a comforting thought. It's got to be something where you're not afraid of death now. But is that something that a theist actually feels? Is that one of the reasons they believe? Or not. I don't know. So I mean, it's something that I've wondered about. Do I have it right? Can I say, yeah, I understand, and um, like that will shape some of my arguments in their direction. I mean, it won't change what I think. It won't change my premises, but I mean, it might change my presentation, right? And I'm hoping that if they can empathize with the atheist position and understand why their position is difficult to accept, I mean, that would make our debates back and forth a lot more productive, I think. It really would. So I wonder about that sort of thing sometimes. I really do. And so those were really the two topics that I had that I wanted to talk about. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say. Well, I can tell you about my wrist because those of you who were here in the beginning, I told you a little bit about how it happened. I was on a hoverboard. Okay, those are fun. And because I can't drive with my epilepsy, I needed another form of transport. And I thought a hoverboard might be good. I probably should have gotten a scooter instead, one of those electric scooters, but I got a hoverboard. And I probably should have been wearing my rollerblade wrist guards, but I wasn't. Next time, I totally will. But when I fell, I landed like that, right? Like with my arm up in the air and my hand, yeah. And but I mean, obviously, when it hit the ground, it got like really squished, right? So now I've got this. I was in a splint for a while and I have a brace back there, but it's really uncomfortable. And so I've been basically trying to immobilize it with this. Now, I've been to, like I say, the emergency room, and then I went to my doctor because my doctor can recommend physical therapy if I need it. But that had to be approved through my insurance, which actually only took one day. They told me it might be a week, so I was pleased about that. So I've now been referred to the sports medicine department, and the problem with that is they don't have any appointments until August. Right. And I got to be able ow, that hurts, to be able to use this in order to make my videos, in order to play video games, in order to just surf the web. One of the reasons I'm doing this right now is because I'm super freaking bored, because I can't do anything except like watch videos or read my Kindle, right? And so there is a potential solution, because they've said that you can be a walk-in, which basically means you go into the office, and if someone doesn't show up for their appointment, I can go in instead. And they said that in the morning they have a lot of no-shows. So I figure on Monday I'm going to go in and see what can be done for this, right? So here's hoping. And anyway, sorry, I've been kind of ignoring the chat while I've been talking about this. Actually, what I'd really like to do, and I don't actually know how to get it here, is to invite someone into the chat, because having someone to like actually chat with by voice in real time would be really nice. But I wish I could get a list of who's watching this. I don't know if I can. Well, anyway, you asked if I'm going to the next Faithless Forum. That was Cosmic Strings who asked that. I don't know. See, the thing is that while I actually make a fairly decent living just off of Patreon, and by the way, if you're a patron, thank you very much. I mean, the only reason that's true is because I don't have to pay rent on this place. If I had to pay rent, I couldn't live here. Best I could probably do is a studio apartment, if that. I live in San Diego, in one of the more popular neighborhoods in San Diego. It would cost out the ass to live here by rent. So the fact that I don't means that I actually have some spending cash each month, but it's only spending cash. So going to something like the Faithless Forum would be difficult. It really would, because, well, dinero, right? Now, I have been to some conventions, and the reason I've been able to do that is because I have one very generous viewer, generous fan, and he's been paying my way. So I've actually missed the last couple of American Atheist things because he had a disaster and couldn't send me. I don't know about Faithless Forum for the next one. I've mostly been to the American Atheist conventions. I went to one Skepticon. So yeah, Faithless Forum has sounded fun. And there's another one that was organized by, wow, brain cramp now, another atheist YouTuber whose name I should totally know. And well, you know me in names with my epilepsy. Names and faces and stuff are just totally disconnected for me. So I should know it. But he organized like some other like YouTuber atheist convention thingy. And it sounded like fun. I couldn't go. Maybe next year. Have I ever made a video describing my tattoos? I think I have, actually. But I've probably had some new ones made since. So I don't know exactly like what people have seen. So, I mean, if you want to know now, I can totally tell you. This right here is from The Last Starfighter. It should actually be over here, but I already had something there. But this was on Alex Rogan's uniform in The Last Starfighter. So I'm a bit of a fan, you may have noticed. Now, here we have some circuitry. That's just something I always wanted. It's not specifically supposed to be Tron. It's not specifically supposed to be the alien circuit boards and Explorers. It's just circuitry. I like it that way. Now, this is my favorite band, Roxette, right? They're from Sweden. They're nothing like ABBA. I really like them. Most of you, if you're not too young, probably know some of their better songs. I mean, The Look, Dangerous, Dress for Success, Joyride, It Must Have Been Love, Listen to Your Heart, all of that. It Must Have Been Love was in the movie Pretty Woman. Most people don't know that, or if they do, they forgot it. So Roxette was fairly famous for a while, but then American producers abandoned them, and that sucked. So they stopped coming to the United States, even though they're mega popular in the rest of the world. And so yeah, that's That's kind of tragic, but they're still my favorite band. Now, we have here the Rebel Alliance insignia from Star Wars. And here we have, this is an old nickname. Please don't ask me to explain it. Some of you already know. I'm not going to get into it. It's not what you might think just from looking at it. I mean, I do love space. I think it's cool. And it's very much sort of an atom punk, ray punk sort of space opera thing. But there's more to it than that. Yes, thank you. Holy Kool-Aid. That's the one who started that YouTuber forum. Thank you. Gosh, that was bugging me. Okay, now this is the insignia of the Bionic Six. You can barely see the six there, but that was a cartoon show from the 80s that I absolutely adored, and it's actually the reason for the name Bionic Dance. Now, this one's a little hard to see because my epilepsy medic alert bracelet covers it, but this, it should be the other way around. I put it this way so I could show it to people better, but this is called a Zopdaz. It was actually invented by Aaron Ra's son, but the basic idea is that represents the concept of apistivism, right? So that's what that is. It's an apistivism symbol. For those of you who don't know what apistivism is, it's something that I invented the word for it because pistis, I don't know how it's pronounced, is Greek for faith. So an apistivist doesn't use faith as a method for reaching conclusions. And so that's where that term came from. And people seem to have glommed onto it. In fact, someone proposed that it might be added to a dictionary. I don't know if that's been approved yet, but if it does get approved, well, hey, look how famous I fucking am, right? Now, I've got two other tattoos. No, it's Zopdoz because it's the same upside down and backward, right? Much the way that it's supposed to be, like you've got a triangle of dots and a triangle that's solid. So it's triangles the same way up and down. And that's the concept. So, yeah. But I do have tattoos on my back. I can't really show them to you right now because I've got the headphones on. And with this, taking off my shirt requires something akin to like yoga and gymnastics. And yeah, so I'm not going to show them to you. But one of them, you know, those aliens that abduct and probe people, you know, that they've got that. It's one of their heads is back here. And on the other side and below, right over a kidney, is what Tron has in the center of his chest. So, yeah, right. The grays, exactly. So that is my tattoos, right? Oh, $20 for the shirt to come off, right? Well, anyone who knows me at all well knows that I've taken part in the Fremont Solstice Parade in Seattle. I don't live there anymore. Otherwise, I'd have kept doing it. Now, the Fremont Solstice Parade is traditionally crashed by a whole bunch of naked, body-painted people on bicycles. I don't own a bicycle, so I was on my rollerblades. But yeah, I've rollerbladed naked, body painted in a bunch of parades. I have very little shame. Just saying. So yeah, if I still lived in Seattle, I'd be doing that. I have some friends in Seattle I really miss. So I've been thinking about taking a trip up there to see them, to hang out, and to take part in the Solstice Parade again, while also visiting my friends, going back to the club I love, all sorts of stuff like that. So what do I have to be ashamed of? There are a few things in my past that I look back on them and go, what the fuck was I thinking? I made an ass of myself. I was a jerk to these people, mostly in like my school years, though, not very recently. So yeah, but it's anything I'm ashamed of is action, like behavior, things I've done, rather than like, I don't really have much body shame anymore. There was a time when I did, but some plastic surgery fixed it. So yeah, I don't know how many of you noticed that at a certain point, my videos stopped for a little while and then I came back on and my face was different. I don't know how many of you noticed that. So Yeah. I mean, because I was getting a lot of shit about my looks, and honestly, I was never a huge fan of my own personal face bones. So I figured I'd get that fixed and kill two birds with one stone. Now, someone asked me something else, and I want to find it. Where did it go? Because someone else was asking something. Oh, that's right. I remember what it was. It's way up in the chat. Someone was asking me about my brain surgery, right? Because like I say, I have epilepsy, and it's done a lot of horrible things to my life. Like I can't drive anymore because I might have a seizure at any time, that sort of thing. It's one of the reasons I bought the hoverboard, is because I want to be able to get around faster, easier, but I can't have a car. So there's that. And also there's certain foods, mostly foods that I absolutely love, that I can't have anymore because they cause seizures. They work as vasoconstrictors. They make my veins clench. And when they do that, the reservoir in my head, it's called a cavernous malformation or a cavernoma, that's filled with certain fluids, gets clenched too and floods my brain. Right. And that's what causes the seizures. Like flashing lights don't do it. It's all chemical intake for me. Right. So, what I do, or what they're going to do, is they're going to stick a needle into the back of my head. And it's like 5 millimeters. It's really tiny. And inside that needle, they can fire a laser that will cauterize that cavernous malformation, right? And that should make it so that the fluid cannot come out of it anymore. And that should stop my seizures. And hopefully it means I can start eating things like ginger and chocolate and caffeine again, right? So at least garlic is not on the verboten list. I can still have garlic. And given that I was raised by, well, my dad's side of the family, Sicilian, Italian food's a big thing over here, right? So that's a thing. Fortunately, they told me that I wouldn't have to shave my head to have that done, because that would be horrible. I don't ever want to have to shave my head. Uh, but so uh, I don't know exactly when that brain surgery is going to happen. See, there's a video actually on my alternate channel. It's called Bionica Gaming. Originally, it was going to be a game channel, but I've made it more of a like a vlog channel, and I haven't used it in a while. But there's a video on there that is actually when I went into the hospital for an EEG. They put all the wires on my head, all the electrodes, and then they said, we're going to induce seizures to like study what is actually happening electrochemically in your head. And so basically for like a week, I was able to eat the foods that would cause seizures, the ones I missed so much. You know what has ginger in it? Curry. I can't have curry anymore. That sucks. You know, chocolate, the reason I can't have chocolate is because it has caffeine in it, and caffeine's a mega vasoconstrictor, so I can't have that. No, my name's not Bianca. Bionica. It's Bionic Dance, but it's Bionica now for Bionica Gaming. Don't worry about it. But so in that video, you can see me having seizures, and you can see what it's like. And you can also see how awesome my dad is at supporting me for all this. So there's that. The funny thing is how many people have left comments telling me how brave I am. And I don't feel brave doing this. I didn't really have an emotional thing, but they're all like, look how awesome you are for having done this, and all that stuff. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't expect that reaction. But so one of the things is that the reason why it's delayed, I actually missed an MRI appointment, and it took them a while to reschedule me. It was 57 minutes. No, sorry, I take that back. It was 76 minutes of being in the MRI machine with it like making all those bangs and clang sounds for that long. And actually, they said I did a great job, that they didn't have to redo anything because I kept that still. Part of it, they have an aromatherapy station where they can pump these smells in that make you calm down. And I think that's what happens. And so there's that. And like, well, now they have the MRI stuff, so they should be able to schedule me do whatever else they need to do to get me prepped for this brain surgery. Now, like, one of the other problems is that their equipment was damaged a while ago, so they either have to have it repaired or get a new one. So that caused delays as well. Now, wow, you would have fallen asleep even with the banging. You do realize what that sounds like. But anyway, whenever I see someone in the movies getting like slowly, because you're on that table, going into the MRI machine without any ear protection at all, I'm like, oh, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. You will go deaf because they put earplugs in and then pack your head in foam when they're putting you in the MRI machine. So yeah, I will admit that the brain surgery sounds terrifying, but you know what's even worse is the waiting, right? It's like I want to just get it done at this point. Like when I first heard, yeah, we're going to give you brain surgery, I was like, ugh. But now it's been like a year since they told me that this was going to happen, and I'm just like, can we get it over with so I can get on with my life? There's all these things I want to do that I can't right now because I don't know when this brain surgery is going to happen. So yeah, but one thing that like for those of you who don't want to go to my other channel and see the seizure video, what happens is that one of my hands starts to swing like this. Meanwhile, my jaw is so it looks like I'm conducting an orchestra with a mouthful of peanut butter. That's basically what a seizure looks like. And so, but that's one of the major ones. If I haven't been consuming lots of the foods that make me have the seizure, like I have these absences where I just go kind of blank for a sec and then wake back up. It's like rarely more than a minute. And it leaves me with this feeling like I've lost something. Like if I'm on a bus or whatever, I feel like I've left my backpack on a seat somewhere, and I might not even have brought a backpack. So it's kind of, yeah. So that's one of you asked my status on the whole brain surgery thing. That's what I've got going on. Yeah, that kind of seizure, it's just called an absence, or at least that's what they told me it's called. Have I ever thought about using cannabis for seizures? Yes, I have, and I've tried it, and unfortunately, it makes me fairly sick. I don't feel good on cannabis. I don't. So, and I've tried like THC and CBD. It's the CBD that's supposed to help. And I don't know if it's the THC that fucks me up or what, but I mean, it's really hard to get CBD only. So I don't know, but it's yeah, it does kind of sound like I have a demon, doesn't it? I need an exorcism. So yeah, it a metaphorical demon. Come on, metaphorical. We have to win Germany. What are you talking about? And why did you post something in Korean? That is Korean, right? I don't know. Why did you do that? No, I've done the drops I can place under my tongue. Those were almost the nastiest. Now, okay, psychedelics. I've before the seizures, I did try LSD a couple of times, and the best thing you can ever do on LSD is to turn out all the lights and put on Tron. That is one of the coolest things on LSD, believe me. So yeah. Ooh, excuse me. Gosh, what did that come from? Did I hear from Hat Trick Munch since the fall of Stickham? I have no idea what you mean by that. Who the hell's Hat Trick? I don't know. Isn't a hat trick like scoring 3 goals in hockey or something? I don't know. How do I know it's Korean? Because I actually took Taekwondo and I've eaten a fair amount of Korean food. That's how I know it's Korean. I never got more than a high yellow belt. So if any of you are decent at martial arts, you could probably kick my ass. Just saying. Okay. Hast du alles Is that German now? I don't speak German. I speak a very, very tiny smidge of Japanese. So yeah. I have no idea what you people are saying. Could you stop speaking in foreign languages on my chat? Seriously. So yeah, I wonder. I really wish I could see the folks who are watching right now to see if there's anyone I really feel the need to invite in here. Well, nobody said you are Korean, but I could have sworn that language you posted is Korean. Although it could have been like Vietnamese. You know what I always wonder? How they get the end of what they call a certain race. Like ish, ease, Ian, all of that. Like, why aren't they the Japanish? Why Japanese? Right? I always wonder about that. Um, I mean, America ish instead of American. I mean, that would make sense, I guess, but it's something I've always wondered. Uh, what are you people even talking about? Are you talking about soccer now? Because you say Korea lost versus Mexico, and I'm pretty sure the cup is going on at the moment. So I assume you're talking about soccer or football to those of you who don't live in the US. But is that what you're talking about? I don't know. Well, what movies am I looking forward to this summer or fall? You know, the thing is, I don't have television at the moment. And so I don't see a lot of trailers very often. And so I don't know exactly what movies I'm looking forward to. I just saw Incredibles 2, and that was amazing, right? Incredibles 2 is great. If you haven't seen it, go or you eat yellow snow. That's just all there is to it. One great thing about the Incredibles, or Incredibles 2, is I noticed a blooper. I noticed a goof and submitted it to IMDb and they accepted it. You see, no real spoilers. There's one point where Bob puts on his original Mr. Incredible suit, and the stitch that E put on it in the first movie, not there. It's just you can't see it. I kept waiting, like to see when I saw him put it on, and he actually only faced the camera from one direction for a really long time. And I was like, let me see the other arm so I can see if the stitch is still there. But we finally saw it, and I was like, it's not. So if you go to the IMDb Goofs page for Incredibles 2, you'll see what I put there. So go me. But I know there were some trailers on that for something I wanted to see, and I think it was all CGI, but I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly. But there's very little that's come out recently that I've wanted to see. So many movies these days are just the same fucking plot that I've seen a million times, or it's a remake or reimagining or whatever of a movie I used to love or a movie I still love and would want to see an updated version if they could do it well, but they never do it well. And yeah, I saw Deadpool 2 and I liked it. It was definitely worth the price of admission, but I didn't think it was as good as the first one. Okay, you ask what time it is here now. It's 9:11 p.m., right? So for those of you on 24-hour time, it's 21:11 here. Infinity War, well, here's the thing. As much as I was just talking about The Incredibles, I have actually burned out on superhero movies. Oh, and talking about Deadpool. I burned out on superhero movies a long time ago. I like Deadpool because it's funny as fuck. I like The Incredibles just because it's sort of an original take on superheroes, right? But watching something like, say, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Superman, whatever, I'm just done with it. They're oversaturating the market. And I tried to watch Wonder Woman, and I did get all the way through it. But I was like, this was not a good movie. I mean, as much as it's cool to have a female superhero, it didn't click. So, yeah, I haven't watched a superhero movie that was taking itself seriously or wasn't CGI in a really long time. Yeah. Uh, how do I know Aaron's son? Well, Aaron Ra has been to conventions, and I've been to conventions, and he brings his family to conventions. This isn't difficult math now. So yeah, Arn Ra's a really cool guy. I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to hang out with him, but it's totally worth it. He's such a nice fellow. So, yeah. Oh, also the thing with Wonder Woman is that the bad guy was so obvious, right? Like they sort of tried to hide the bad guy a little bit, or maybe I'm thinking of Captain America because I did have someone make me watch Captain America too. But there was this whole thing: was Wonder Woman or Captain America the one with the Red Skull guy? Right? But whatever it was, I was like, oh, that's the bad guy. He's hiding himself, but that's the bad guy. It was just, yeah. No, I've never heard of Dr. Despair on YouTube. No idea who that is. So yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, so like I said, Aaron Rock, great guy. Totally worth hanging out with if you get the chance. Yeah. In fact, it's often interesting to see people's off-camera personas. I mean, I've had a lot of people tell me when they've met me that I'm basically just the same here. But there are some folks where you meet them and maybe they were like really gruff and angry on their YouTube channel, and you meet them in person and they're like the nicest people in the world. It's crazy. And sometimes you get it the other way around, not as often though. And also, like, I got to hang out with Jacqueline Glenn once. She went to one of those conventions, and she is so much shorter than she looks in her videos. Seriously, she's minuscule. Kind of like the same. Does anyone remember Zom Gets Chris or Oh My God, It's Chris? Because she's tiny too. You could pick her up and throw her for a pass. Yeah. You'd never know it. I mean, her camera is so zoomed in. She looks like this tall Valkyrie chick, and she is so not. But again, really nice people, right? Totally fun to hang out with. In fact, a bunch of us went to karaoke one night. Oh, I don't know if I've told you guys the fondue and archery story. And if I have, well, there's a lot of you here who probably haven't heard it before. So I was at the American Atheist Convention, and one of my friends comes up to me and goes, "Hey, Kate, we're gonna go out tonight to fondue. Do you want to come with us?" I was like, "Okay." He goes, "Yeah, so tonight fondue and archery." I was like, "Archery, okay." And so the whole day, I'm like, "Why would those two go together?" Fondue and archery. This makes no sense. I mean, and why would after dinner there be a place where we can shoot bows and arrows? How late is that open? It's just bizarre. I mean, yeah, it does sound like an odd bit of fun, but that was like the whole day. I'm like, fondue and archery, fondue and archery. I don't get it. And so come dinner time, he comes and fetches me and goes, "Okay, Kate, we're going to go get some fondue. Oh, and like I said, our treat." Yeah, our treat. I heard archery, he meant our treat. So ever since, every time I go to a convention, we have a fondue and archery night where they, like, he and his wife treat me to fondue. And one of those, most of those nights, actually, we go with Chris, with Christina Rad. And once we went with Jacqueline Glenn, and then we all went to karaoke afterward. It was a lot of fun. Funny thing about that karaoke, we get to the karaoke place and like we have to sign up, so we're not first in line. And there's all these like people. We were in New Orleans, right? So there's all these sort of Southern people doing karaoke, and they're all doing these slow, depressing country ballads, right? And it's like, what the hell are you guys doing? This is really boring. And so then we get up and we're all doing like punk and rock and all this like totally upbeat, loud shit. And I guess we might have disrupted the night. But yeah. Well, okay, karaoke does not have to be drunken howling. I mean, we're not always drunk when we do it. And actually though, doing karaoke has gotten me free drinks because there was once, you guys know Yakko's World from Animaniacs, where it's all the countries in the world, although that was back in the early 90s, so the countries have changed a bit. And I know Rob Paulson, the guy who does the voice of Yakko, has done an updated version, right? Well, I memorized Yakko's World a while back. And so I'm at karaoke one night, and I'm doing Yakko's World as karaoke. But what I do is I step to the side of where the lyrics come up, the screen where you see the lyrics, and did the song without looking at the lyrics. And people were impressed. And this one guy goes, "Oh, I'm buying you a drink for that shit." So yeah, karaoke has gotten me drinks before. It was a lot of fun. Uh, I've been trying to learn Wacko's America, right? And for some reason, it doesn't click the way that Yakko's World did. And part of the problem is I just keep getting the verses out of order, right? Because that one's all the states and their capitals, and I can't manage it. I don't know. So, well, that's my favorite drink is Captain Morgan and either Sprite or orange juice, something citrusy, because I can't have Coca Cola. It's got caffeine in it, and that's a seizure trigger for me. But the thing is that, like, people look at me funny when I say I want rum and citrus. And I say to them, dude, rum, pirates, sailors, scurvy is presented or prevented by vitamin C, which is in citrus left and right. It makes perfect sense to drink your rum with something citrusy. It totally does. Now, that's my favorite drink to drink. My favorite drink to order, on the other hand, is the slow, comfortable screw against the wall Mexican style. It's a nasty drink, but it's great to go up to a bartender and say, "I'd like a slow, comfortable screw against the wall Mexican style, please." And it's just, I mean, I bet bartenders are sick of hearing that, but it's a great drink to order. Now, the name tells you everything that's in it. It's slow gin, that's slow, Southern Comfort, comfortable, vodka and OJ for a screwdriver, slow, comfortable screw. Now, against the wall needs to be explained. There's this alcohol called Galliano, which for some reason is traditionally stored up against the wall. So that's against the wall. And Mexican style is a tequila floater. So it's basically an alcoholic graveyard. And it's nasty to drink, but like I said, fun to order. Now, someone here asked me something video games. My favorite video games currently, as I see the games behind you. Well, here's the thing. I've been playing a lot of really simple games, like card games and Bejeweled and stuff. Except I've gotten into the closed beta for Star Control Origins. Now, I've got an NDA. I can't tell you much about it. But if any of you have played Star Control 2 and loathe Star Control 3, like any Star Control fan would, you understand why Star Control Origins is a big deal. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's sort of an adventure. I mean, I can tell you about this because the game is always the same theme. Basically, you are a human starship captain, and something disastrous happens, and you have to go with your newly discovered hyperspace drive and make allies with various aliens, explore planets, and gather resources so you can go and like use the resources to purchase upgrades or other ships or whatever. And there's like this big whole sort of space opera, like Babylon 5-ish adventure that you have to go on, and it's a lot of fun. It's sort of like, well, the original game, or Star Control 2, rather, because Star Control 1 was a little different, but Star Control 2, a lot of people credit it for inspiring games like Mass Effect and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to Star Control Origins. It doesn't come out until like November 20th, I want to say. But I really want to play that a lot. And so, like I said, I'm in the closed beta and I've been playing that a fair bit. But they only gave me chapter 1 to play. So I can't do a lot. But yeah. So there's that. What, Zork? Dude, Zork, what did that come out in like 82 and it was an all text adventure game? I'm not playing Zork right now. So let's see what I was gonna say. I actually haven't researched much about Fallout 76. From what little I've heard, it's like Fallout, but online multiplayer, like it's some sort of, I don't know, either team-based or individual first-person shooter like arena game or something. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. But I don't know. I mean, I love Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is great. I haven't finished it yet, but I really enjoy it. I like the post-apocalypse genre. I really do. I mean, on my DVD shelf there, I've got like the road or Mad Max, the Road Warrior, Beyond Thunderdome, Solar Babies, Turbo Kid. I hope you guys have seen Turbo Kid. It's a lot of fun. Let's see, and Waterworld, of course, and there's a few others. So I really do enjoy the post-apocalypse genre. I think that one's a lot of fun. So, yeah. I swear there's another video game I'm looking forward to, but much like with the movies, I can't remember. I don't know what it is. I don't play Pokemon. I don't. I'm sorry. It just doesn't look like fun to me. I did. I mean, if you're going to talk about Pokemon Go, I did for a while play Ingress, which is like a predecessor to Pokemon Go. I don't know if you guys have ever played it, but it's as I understand it, it's very similar. You're walking around outside and you've got these like portals that you can either own and enforce, like giving it sort of shielding kind of thing, or you can go use these energy blasting things to wipe out other people's like security nodes and then take over their portals. And then you can connect the portals up into shapes and those generate energy for your team. So yeah, that was fun. Wait, what? Do a trailer to Last of Us 2? I don't know what that is. Last of Us 2? I don't know what that is. Oh, a trailer reaction. But what is it? I don't know. Let's see. Have I made a response to PragerU as the rich get richer, the poor get poorer? No, I actually haven't looked at PragerU in a while. I know I've done videos like debunking their shit, but I haven't looked at them for a while. Now, like I've said to folks earlier, because I did hurt myself and it's really difficult to use my trackball mouse, I haven't been making videos for a while. In fact, one of the things I'm thinking about doing is making a few more streams because I don't have to use this. Now, I sort of discussed it earlier tonight about how I want to see if theists can at least empathize a little bit with atheists, can understand why we have a difficult time believing in their God. I went into a bit more detail, and if I do like a full thing with a script, I will get a bit more elaborate with that. But yeah. Let's see. Seriously looking forward to Life is Strange 2 and The Last of Us 2. I don't know those either. You know what I'm really looking forward to is Stranger Things Series 3 and, of course, The Orville. Oh my gosh. If you guys haven't seen The Orville, you have to. That is such an amazingly fun show. If you don't know what it is, it's basically if Star Trek was a comedy. It's like, imagine if the Galaxy Quest show is real rather than like the Galaxy Quest movie was about actors in a show. Well, imagine if they're not actors. It's kind of like that, except it's deliberately funny rather than pure cheese like their show obviously was. So yeah, apparently the next season of The Orville is coming out in December. I want to say, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's going to be a Stranger Things 3. I think they got contracts for like a certain number of years. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a season 3. And also, Orange is the New Black, because there's got to be another one of those coming out, and I'm looking forward to that too. In a way, I almost wish that like Netflix would not take Stranger Things and Orange is the New Black and all of that and just put them all out at once. I wish we could get one a week, because like when they come out, I just binge watch them for like a day or 2 days or 3 days, and I do nothing else. And then when it's over, it's over. And like all that time was, well, it wasn't wasted, but it just it feels like it would be more epic if we got one a week. I kind of wish. So, or yeah, 2 a week would be good too. Yeah, like let's say Tuesday and Friday or something would be a great schedule for that. And of course, they'd be on Netflix. And so you could like watch them at any old time. So, yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, I wonder if Netflix listens to feedback. I mean, because there's a lot of companies out there. Like I've left a fair amount of feedback to YouTube, and they've done diddly and squat with it. So, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Uh. Anyway, the movie Fido. No, I haven't. Like I said, I haven't watched a lot of movies lately. Nothing's been super interesting to me. I don't know what to tell you. I've been ordering a bunch of older movies. Like earlier today, I ordered The Black Hole. I've only seen The Black Hole once, and I was really young, and I remember it freaking me right the fuck out. Like, most of it was boring, and then at the end, it turns into this weird, like, religious heaven and hell thing going on. It was weird, but I want to see it now to like understand, like to have an older perspective on it. And so I ordered it. It was like only a couple of bucks, you know. So yeah. Okay, Fido is a zombie movie with Billy Connolly. Well, I like Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly is great. So maybe I'll check this out. I don't know. Hmm. Okay, you say an older perspective won't help. It makes no sense. Well, perhaps so. I did, for the second time recently, watch Howard the Duck. Now, I saw it when it first hit video. I never saw it in the theater, but I saw it when it first hit video, and I was like, eh. I watched it again like a week ago and was like, wow, that's worse than eh. So yeah, Howard the Duck. Ugh. But I've got actually, like, when I was doing those unboxing videos for a while. Well, I've got a bunch of DVDs that I still haven't watched yet, and a lot of them are full seasons of shows. So I've got a fair amount of watching material if I really want it. Now, someone asked if I'm into any type of music. Yes, I am. But it's a little hard to describe. See, I like just about anything that's upbeat, as long as it's not in certain genres. For example, I don't like country music. I just don't. There's something about that twang, both in the voices and the guitars, that I just am not into. But there's this band, this great band that does pop punk covers of just about anything. They're called Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And they did a country album where they're playing country as punk, and it works. It works. So it's just the style that it was played in that I didn't care for. And also, I don't much care for opera because the way they sing it just grates on my ears. It sounds like shouting, it sounds like howling. I often wonder what opera would sound like if people sang it in a normal voice. I might even like it. Who knows? So yeah, I'm not into opera. I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of like classical and baroque and all of that. When it comes to orchestra music, I prefer movie scores. I mean, John Williams, James Newton Howard, Jerry Goldsmith. You ever notice how many of their names start with J? Yeah, anyway. So Alan Silvestri, he's another good one. So, and actually, one thing that's kind of funny is Danny Elfman. I used to hate Danny Elfman. But then what I realized is I'd only seen him doing scores for Tim Burton movies where everything he did sounded like a circus gone horribly wrong. A lot of womp, 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 all of that. And when I saw him do a movie score for something that wasn't a Tim Burton movie, I was like, oh, dude actually does have range and he's good at it. So yeah, a lot of what I don't like is just style issues. Yeah. So, anyway. Okay, yeah, Hans Zimmer's all right. Yeah, but John Williams will always be the best. And not just because he did Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Nobody does theme songs like John Williams. He does some of the best theme songs. And actually, lately with movie theme songs, I've been very disappointed because if you listen to stuff from like the 80s, everything had a distinctive tune right? Indiana Jones, dun 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 dun, dun and Star Wars and all of that. And nowadays, when you get a theme song, it's very, I don't want to say random exactly, but it doesn't have that hummable tune to it. It doesn't sound like an anthem. And I miss that. I really miss that. No, I have not seen the new Solo movie. I have no intention of doing it. I will not watch anything else that Disney has put out. I watched The Force Awakens and I watched Rogue One and said, these guys have no idea what the fuck they're doing. I'm not going to watch any more of their movies. I just, no, they don't know what they're doing. They really don't. So, no, I haven't seen the Solo, and you would have to pay me a lot to be willing to see it. So, sorry, I can't give you an opinion on that. I can't do it. Uh, I mean, there are some opinions I could express about the new Star Wars movies, the two that I saw, that I'm not sure would be taken well because they're not exactly politically correct, these opinions, but they are sort of part of why I don't like it. So I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, yeah. Wait, you say, is she Indian? You're not asking about me, are you? Because I'm not. I did one of those 23andMe things, the genetic test. And I really should put out a video based on it because I still have the video of me preparing for it where they make you spit into that little vial and they use that to like figure out your genetics. And it turns out that and this one surprised me. I didn't object to it. I just didn't see it coming, is that 22% or so of me is Ashkenazi Jewish. I didn't see that coming because I'm adopted, and the adoption agency said that I'm Italian, Austrian, Cherokee, French, and Black, right? And they said nothing about Jewish, not even slightly. And so that came out of nowhere. And I really should look up what Ashkenazi Jewish really means because I've never really actually been up on the different bits of Judaism, like the different sects or areas or whatever, which is weird because my adoptive mom's side of the family is Jewish, but very culturally Jewish, very sort of like upstate New York Jewish, if you know what I mean. Now, there is a fair amount of Africa going on. It's like another 20% or something. And then there's like another 20% of, what was it, like Western European or Middle European or something. Yeah, there's that. One thing, like I said, the adoption agency claimed I'm Cherokee, but the Native American percentage in there is 0.6%. 0.6. So I don't know. But the weird thing is a lot of people say that they can see the Native American in my cheekbones. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some dominant trait in that 0.6% that expressed itself. I don't know. I don't know. I can pull up the full stats if you want me to, but I'm not sure people are that interested. So, yeah, that's kind of my genetics, and I'm trying to remember why it got brought up now. So, yeah. And people are saying here, European Jews are the Ashkenazi ones. Okay. And apparently the smart ones. I'll take that. Yeah. I went and got like, what was I going to say? I forget. So, yeah. Well, anyway. 2 and 3 and 23andMe results should be taken with a grain of salt, I suppose. Like, I don't know. I was almost hoping to find some of my birth relatives through that, but the most I found was like a potential second or third cousin. So what can you do? Oh, that's right. That's what I was going to say. You say that the Ashkenazi are the smart Jews. Well, I did take an IQ test a while back and got like 133, which is 1 point more than you need to join Mensa. So if I joined Mensa, I'd be like their little bitch, the barely squeaked in kid, and I don't feel the need to to do that. Yeah. So, oh, you're asking why I fell? I explained it earlier. I was on a hoverboard. It slipped out from under me and I landed badly. So that was basically it. Wait, you're saying there have been identical twins that take 23andMe tests and have fairly different results come back. Okay. Well, if you say so, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. There's probably a website about it, about 23andMe. But I was actually going to do that in prep for a collaborative video with someone, but it really went nowhere. So maybe I'll just put up the footage I do have and give some commentary on it for later where I have the results. So there is that. Wait. You're saying I should join Mensa just for the lols, huh? Well, what is there to laugh about in Mensa? Seriously, I mean, I don't even know what they do. I'm picturing like test tubes and playing chess. I don't know what Mensa does. I know that it's supposed to be smart people, and that's everything I know. I should do my homework on that. So yeah. And yeah, okay, there are different types of intelligences and different types of geniuses. I think that if I have an intelligence area, it probably lies in language and I guess artwork too. That's probably it. I'm no good at math. I'm just no freaking good at math. My thoughts on Jordan Peterson. The guy's a nut bar. I think he's one of those folks who's just after attention, and that's it. That's all he's got going on. And I mean, a lot of his ideas are just screwy. I'd have to look at something specific, honestly, to uh, really form an opinion. I've made like one video on the guy, and that's it. No, I take that back. I might have made three, probably two, but I don't know. I don't need to deal with that. In fact, I will admit freely that when I made a video on Jordan Peterson, it was mostly for the attention to see who would subscribe as a result, because he's so popular to rag on right now, right? So I figured, what the hell, let's jump on the train. But I did wait until I could find something he'd said that like pissed me off or I knew was wrong and had to debunk. So that was basically it. If I could travel to any country and money was no object, where would I go and why? Well, it's a toss up. I would either go to Japan because I think like the Japanese are awesome and I can speak a tiny bit of the language. I love Japanese. It's a great language and it just seems like a fun place to go. Or I would go to Sweden. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, my favorite band, Roxette, is from Sweden. Now they're not going to play again. Marie Fredriksson, the female lead singer, has had some medical issues, and the band is basically essentially broken up. But I could still see the male vocalist and guitar player paired. I want to say his last name is actually Gessler, but we would probably pronounce it Gessel based on how it's spelled. But Per Gessler, he's still playing, and I could go to one of his concerts. The other reason is because one of my friends from high school, a girl named Tracy, got married to a Swedish guy and lives there now. Like her and him and their son. And I'll probably never see her again in my entire life if I don't go to Sweden. So there's that. Yeah. If we colonize Mars, but you can't come back to Earth once you go, would I go to Mars? That depends on a bunch of different things. I mean, one of the reasons I moved away from Seattle is I couldn't handle the weather, right? All those clouds forever without ever seeing the sun was slowly killing me. That's why I live in Southern California now. Now, I'd want to know what the facility on Mars is like, and I'd want to know how much sun I can get. Because if I can get sun, that'd be great. And if the building that we're living in, the colony, was fairly secure and safe, and I didn't have to fear for my life all the time, yeah, I might go to Mars. I might. Well, also, I'd want to know if we could get some sort of internet service so I could still watch movies there. I'd probably do that. So, yeah. Okay, hold on. YouTuber Grudge, you're saying Seattle is getting less cloudy and more sunshine now? Well, it's the middle of summer. I mean, Seattle will get 2.5 months out of the year of no clouds. Like it's actually decent weather, but the other 9.5 are shit, right? So, and in fact, here in San Diego, it's the exact opposite. We have 2.5 months of clouds. Like I like to describe it by saying it's very Seattle out. And the rest of the year is like summertime all the time. And it's a pretty mild summertime too. It rarely gets above like 80 degrees. So, yeah. Okay, you're saying Mage Grey Wolf here says not going to get much sun on Mars, but I've looked at some of the pictures that come from the landers we put down there, the what do we call them, drones or whatever, and it looks kind of bright, not super cloudy or nothing. So I don't need porn on Mars. That's not a concern of mine. Yeah. And also like how often do we get shipments from Earth? I mean, if we can get like Blu-ray discs and you get to see the movies, that'd be great too. So, yeah. But anyway, I would consider going to colonize Mars. I would seriously consider. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can I bring my kitty? Can I bring my kitty? Are there cats on Mars? I wonder that because that's a factor. You gotta admit. In fact, eventually my kitty's gonna like die and I can't replace her if I'm on Mars. So that's oh yeah, that's another good one. Purple Rhymes with Orange says, what if I'm the only lesbian on Mars? Ooh, that's a problem. Maybe if I could get one of those girlfriend things I've read so much about and we could both go together. But then what if we broke up and we're both stranded on Mars and we're the only lesbians? Gosh, that would suck. So, yeah, that's another factor. Maybe I wouldn't go to Mars. Maybe I wouldn't. So, yeah, Are There Cats on Mars does sound like the title for a book. It sounds like either self-help or one of those sort of psychological books where it's supposed to make you feel better. Like there's self-help for like physical shit, and then there's self-help psychologically, emotionally, that kind of thing. And I guess Are There Cats on Mars does sound like one of those, like what's one of those books with a similar title? I know there's one. Oh well. Am I a fan of the Alien franchise? Only two. Only Aliens. Alien, I find kind of boring. It's just like the characters have to be really stupid to get killed off, and there's only one alien, and it's not very scary. I know a lot of people say that that's the horror movie, but Aliens terrified the fuck out of me because like most of the characters do things right. I mean, they're ordered to do something really stupid by their commander, but none of them like it. They're all smart enough to know it's an idiotic idea. And then, despite their high tech weaponry, despite everything, they still get really slaughtered. And on top of that, they're trapped somewhere where it's like going to nuke itself because of the reactor problems. And it's just like there's this terrifying trapped feeling, and it was like amazing. But then Alien 3, don't even get me started. Like it was it was so bad. I was so disappointed. And after that, I just didn't bother to watch anything except for Alien versus Predator. I did watch Alien versus Predator, and I didn't think it was very good because I read the comic book first. And while they followed the same basic plot as the comic book, it was set on Earth instead of another planet. And it just, they didn't do a good job with it. I don't know. I don't remember if I saw Alien Resurrection. I don't remember that. I may have and didn't care for it, but I don't know. Okay, if one day we did find aliens, do you think they would be friendly or hostile? I don't know, because it depends on so many factors. I mean, how did they evolve? What is their culture like? Can we even communicate? I mean, that's a huge factor, is if we can't talk to them, the possibility of one side deciding the other's a threat is really high. One thing that I actually thought would make a really good sort of either sci-fi story or aspect of a sci-fi story, like part of a series like Babylon 5 or something, is if you had an alien species that is hideous. Like picture the xenomorphs from Aliens with like even nastier like Cthulhu tentacles and claws and shit, and they look like the biggest nightmare you will ever see. And it turns out that they are the kindest, most loving, most cuddliest aliens you will ever find. The way they treat each other, and they're young, they're just like the friendliest creatures you'll ever see. And it's just not okay. It's not their fault that they look like something out of a nightmare. And so there's like this big war between them and humans over this misunderstanding because they look so hideous, and they couldn't speak to each other. And so they thought they were a threat. And then eventually someone discovers, wait, no, actually, these guys are kind of nice. Now, I know some people have told me that sounds like the plot of Ender's Game, but not exactly the same thing, because I'm picturing like not a child genius. I'm picturing uh I don't know, just a more interaction. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, biology formulates the function, but what if their form was like they look that hideous because they were hunters, and ate like a lot of prey, a lot of meat or something, or maybe they needed it to defend themselves against predators, and they're actually vegetarians, they're herbivores. I don't know. I mean, but I mean, just because form follows function, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're aesthetically pleasing to human eyes, right? Yeah, hideous aliens with a heart of gold. I think that would. Oh, hey, it's Paula Gia. How you doing? So yeah, I think that would be a pretty good idea for a sci-fi story. I'd like to see it. Do I like any Swedish movies? Remind me, was the girl with the dragon tattoo Swedish? Because I liked those. Those were really good. But other than that, I'm not sure I've ever seen any Swedish movies. Oh, they were Finnish? Oh, man. All right. Well, damn. Okay. Well, then I don't know if I've ever seen a Swedish movie. I'd have to find out. I'd have to look. Horror movies. I like some horror movies. There are some good ones. Oh, now someone's saying that those are Swedish. I thought they were. Well, the girl with the dragon tattoo and all the others, I thought they were really good. I enjoyed them quite a bit. As for horror movies, yes and no. I mean, something like Tremors is great. And like I said, I consider Aliens a horror movie. I think that's a lot of fun. But some of the slasher movies, like Child's Play with Chucky, the little doll, or what's the one? Like Friday the 13th, for example. I don't know. The slasher movies aren't that great. I prefer something that's a little more I don't know. I don't know. I mean, tongue in cheek is good, but they don't all have to be comedies. Eh. So, okay, someone asked me here, favorite LGBT movie. I gotta go with But I'm a Cheerleader. That movie is so much fun. If you've never seen it, it's basically like this girl gets sent to this like cure the gays camp, and she ends up like I don't want to say it because anything I could say after that would be a spoiler, but it's very funny. If I had to pick a non-comedy, Better Than Chocolate, gotta go with that. But I still say that if I can pick anything, any genre, it's got to be But I'm a Cheerleader. Gotta be. So wait, you got sent to a Cure the Gay camp once? I am really lucky that I was raised by hippies, right? Because they've been tolerant of so much of my stuff. Like they're totally cool with my being a lesbian. They're totally cool with my being an atheist. In fact, I basically converted my dad to atheism, and like bunches of stuff like that where they're going, no, it's totally cool. I mean, some conservative right wing family would probably lose their shit, but we're totally okay with the stuff you're doing. So that's cool. I was really lucky. And I mean, like, I never went to church really. Like, I think we went to a Unitarian church once or twice, something like that. But I was never actually I mean, I didn't have that deconvert moment that so many people talk about. In a weird way, I almost feel left out of most, like compared to most atheists, because they all have these stories, these powerful stories of how they had to break free of the shackles of religion and stuff. And I'm sitting here going, all I did once was try to use the force and it didn't work. And so I'm not religious. That's like it. And so I don't know. I mean, in a weird way, I feel left out. But I'm glad. It's a good kind of left out. But I don't know. It's like I can't relate is the thing. So yeah. Uh no, I'm not a Jedi. It's true. That's been confirmed. No, I have not read the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo books. I have not. I've actually got a fair number of books I'm trying to get through right now. More would be bad. Although I do want to get a copy of Armada, which is by the same guy who did Ready Player One, right? And so like it's funny because I've got the Last Starfighter tattoo here. I was describing the Last Starfighter to someone and they went, but that's Armada, that's the plot of Armada. And I'm like, okay, so now I want to read it. I don't know. um so now, Ready Player One, I know a lot of people had a lot of opinions about that movie, but I think that the very best thing that I ever did entertainment wise was not reread the book right before I saw the movie, right? Because I read the book a long time ago. And I said to myself, I'm not going to watch a trailer for the movie and I'm not going to reread the book because I know that either I'm going to encounter spoilers or I'm going to read stuff that they're going to change for the movie because I didn't remember a lot. I remember the basic plot, but that was it. Right. And so I watched the movie and loved it. I thought it was so much fun. And then I reread the book after that. And I was like, wow, they did this, this, and this. And I would have hated that. I would have hated the changes they made. It would have been horrible. And watching the movie would have been an awful experience. Right. So now I have a movie I love and a book I love, and neither one of them ruins the other. And I think that was the best entertainment decision I ever made. So, yeah. And I cannot wait for it to be released on Blu-ray. In fact, I put it on my Amazon wish list and somebody has already pre-purchased it for me. I love my subscribers. You guys are so great. You spoil me. You really do. So whoever did that, because I don't know if it arrives, there might be a note with it because that happens with stuff that people send you. But whoever did it, if you're here tonight, thank you. Thank you very much. Like thank you because it hasn't been released yet. But regardless, thanks. So, okay, what else have people asked me here? Uh, right. How about the Underworld franchise? I don't believe I've seen any of it. See, the thing you got to understand is I don't really like dark in my entertainment. It's not my thing. Like if people are moody or broody, it's one of the reasons I don't watch vampire movies because everyone in vampire movies are depressed to fuck. It's one of the reasons why when I was watching Buffy, Spike was one of my favorite characters because he loved being a vampire. I also wanted to see Angel dead because he was like Captain Angst, right? But Spike was so much fun. I thought he was great. Did I watch Rin or RIN or something? No, I haven't seen it. I think I actually have it and haven't watched it yet, which is weird. But no, I haven't watched it. No. Wait a minute. Yeah, here it is. This is in my big shelf of stuff that I haven't watched yet. I don't know if you guys can see this here. Yeah, that all of those are things people have sent me that I haven't watched yet. So yeah, so it's in my to watch pile. Yeah. So no, I haven't watched it yet. In fact, right now, well, actually, I'm rewatching Chef, which I already own, but it's such a great British comedy. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like Chef here goes on the epic rants in his kitchen, and it is so much fun. So I had to rewatch that. I got that sort of. I was bitten by that bug the other day. So, yeah, I'm rewatching that. I think what's next on my to watch list? Well, I don't know. I mean, the problem is that some of these are full seasons. Like right here is season 2, 3, and 4 of Magnum PI, right? And this is all of Knight Rider. This is all of Married with Children. So it's gonna take me a while. Oh, and Big Bang Theory season 10. So it's gonna take me a while to get through some of those. I gotta tell you, I should probably watch the movies first and then binge on some of those shows. Yeah. So, wait, what are you asking? That actually happened. What actually happened? I don't know what you mean by that. See, the problem is that the chat is a bit delayed compared to what I say. So, I don't know what you were talking about. I don't know. But wait, why would you think less of me because of Magnum PI and Knight Rider? I am an 80s kid. You know this about me. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know how much of an 80s kid I am, right? I mean, hell, I'm wearing a Bill and Ted t shirt right now. So, you know, Denan de Terra, I don't know how to pronounce that shit. Hi. You said hi, and I'm saying hi now again. What do I feel about that dumb double standard when it comes to gay kissing? Like when two guys kiss and people think it's gross, two girls kiss, it's like the greatest thing ever. Well, I have to admit, I'm not the hugest fan of watching two guys kiss, but maybe that's just a lesbian thing. No, I'm not really sure why people have that attitude, right? Because I have a few guesses, and I think part of it, and stop me if I'm wrong, but I think part of it is that guys are weirdly ashamed of their genitals. Why do they call it their junk all the time? And yet they're actually really proud also if they happen to be huge or whatever, or not shaped like that, right? So I don't know. I mean, there's something about men and like I guess it makes them uncomfortable, whereas women, I mean, I know plenty of women who look at two women kissing and go, oh, I could never do that, right? So ow, Columbia claws, stop that. I don't know why that's that double standard. It's kind of like, why is it that when someone says that someone's a pedophile, they immediately think it's a gay guy going after boys, right? Why do they think that? It's just an automatic reaction, and there's nothing to say that that's what a pedophile is necessarily doing. So, I mean, I don't know. There's all these cultural things. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I guess guys do want to believe that all women are bi and we'll always invite them to join in. I guess that's a thing. In fact, oh, I have a story for you. See, my condo complex had a get to know you, get to meet you sort of barbecue a week or two ago. Well, maybe it was a month ago. But the thing is that when people got kind of bored with the barbecue, we all went to the local dyke bar. Now, there was like this couple that went, but it was a guy and a girl. They were a straight couple, right? Now, we're all a little bit tipsy, and like we're sort of dancing and chatting, and like everyone's sort of mingling and stuff because it wasn't just us, right? And at one point, the guy's wife was clearly trying to kiss me, right? But he's watching us, and I'm not sure how okay he is with this. I really, I don't know. And so at one point, his wife has to go away, and I start talking to him, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure your wife is trying to kiss me. I want to know how you feel about that. And he goes, oh, that's hot. I'm like, okay. So, but then when his wife comes back from the restroom, and I've never found that room restful, I think it should be called the relief room, but she comes back and they both decide to go home. And they say, hey, Kate, you want to walk home with us? And I'm like, no, I'm good because I want to hang out. But then, like an hour later, I suddenly realized that I was just invited back for a threesome. Yeah. But I wasn't really prepared for that because there was at least one too many males in that particular configuration. So yeah, that was a little weird. But I mean, it's cool when I think about it now because it's kind of flattering. I know a lot of people wouldn't be flattered by that shit. I think people would stay grossed out. But no, I was kind of flattered. I was. Oh, gosh, you want to know what I did to my hand again? How many times am I going to explain this? I fell off of a hoverboard and landed like this, and it like, yeah. Okay, what the hell are you doing posting what looks like scissors? Why are you doing this? Stop that. I don't want to have to kick you. So, yeah, that's what happened to my hand. In fact, one of the reasons I'm doing this, I've already said this, and I know some people are going to be bored about it, but I'm finding it very difficult to operate this, right? And so I'm not doing my usual videos because there's a lot of editing involved. There's a lot of clicking that mouse involved. And so I figured I'd do a stream to alleviate that problem, right? And also, I was a little bit bored, and someone suggested that I do this stream, and I figured, what the hell? So, did I hear about YouTube running anti-gay ads on LGBT? Yes, in fact, there have been some, well, not anti-LGBT, but on my atheism videos. Okay, scissors, people are getting kicked. That's all there is to it. Yeah, hide user on this channel. Stop that. Stupid chat is scrolling. Okay, and do that. So now the people posting scissors are not going to be. Okay, so what were we talking about? Just a sec here. Oh yeah, the LGBT ads. On my atheism videos, people have been getting pro-religion ads. And so it doesn't shock me that LGBT videos are getting anti-gay, homophobic ads. It surprises me that YouTube allows homophobic ads, but it doesn't shock me that because they do, they're ending up on like LGBT videos. That doesn't shock me because the tags that they put on the videos, the words in the description are going to attract anything to do with homosexuality. So, yeah. Let's see. Someone else asked me another question. Oh, thoughts on the recent Star Wars movies? I've already discussed that. So you're going to have to rewatch the stream. Let's see. What else have people asked me here? Scientology ads, really? Oh, for those of you who are in San Diego, if you want to, every Saturday, you can find me in Balboa Park helping to staff an atheism booth, right? And the thing is that section of Balboa Park, it's called the Prado, is lined on the edges with different booths. There's religious booths, there's face painting, there's caricatures, there's balloon animals. And by the way, two of the balloon animal people got into a fight and they had to call the police. One of them had a permit, one of them didn't. They got into a fight about it and the police were called. It's crazy. I wish I'd got it on camera. But sometimes the Scientologists show up to these booth things, and it's actually kind of fun to sort of make fun of them in a way, because you go up to the table and they give you one of those tests with that e-meter thing. And one thing you figure out really quickly is if you clench one of your hands, you can make the needle jump like you wouldn't believe. So when they ask you the questions, all that happens is your hand might twitch a little, and yeah. But I mean, okay, maybe it's mean, but you listen to some of the stuff they say and you give them retorts that make it sound like either you don't get it and make them explain more, or you're subtly making fun of them, but they have to take it seriously and stuff. So it's fun to mess with the Scientology people. It really is. Yeah. So anyway, if you want to like meet or hang out and you're in San Diego, that's where to find me. But no assassins. No assassins. That's not okay. So, yeah. Let's see. Anything else? I mean, this has been going on for an hour and a half. Oh, ZZZ John Awake. Yes. I don't know how to give you the link though. I've never actually had to do this myself. I've had people like put me in their streams, but I don't know, because I don't have a link up here and I don't know how to get the link. Let's see. Participants. No, that's just the chat pop out. Damn it. I don't know how to give you the link. Oh, tonight's okay. Yeah. If you want to interact live, I mean, it's been a while since I've even seen your name. So, Yeah, but you're cool people. So sure. Next time. Maybe I should start scheduling these things. I don't know. Uh, Oh, how long does it take to get hair like this? A long frickin' time. Believe me, this has been like 2 years of growth. But the thing is, like, I used to dye my hair. Any of you who've known me for a while know that I used to like to be visible from orbit. But the thing is that bleaching and dyeing breaks hair like you wouldn't believe. Right. In fact, sometimes when I wake up, if I've been like sweating in my sleep or something, and it does get warm here in Southern California, my hair will be wrinkled. And where the wrinkle ends is where I last bleached and dyed my hair. So, and it's usually right about here. So, if I give myself a while, eventually this will disintegrate and then we'll get up to the healthy stuff. But yeah, it takes a really long time. So okay, you're asking where the cats are. Colombia is right here, right? Now, I've mentioned this before on my last stream, but I don't have Ivan anymore. See, the problem was that he was basically chasing Columbia away from me all the time. He was an attention whore and he was damaging my relationship with my main cat. And I couldn't have that, right? Because, like, she'd be on my lap, sacked out on my lap, and he'd come up and meow, 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 and start batting at her. And I was like, that's not okay. So, but what I did when I brought him back to the Humane Society, I told them what his behavior was like, and they were like, "Thank you," because we didn't know. While we had him, we didn't know what he was like. Now we know he should be with a single cat family, just him, and we know how enthusiastic he can be about certain things. Like I gave them a bunch of traits about him, and yeah, so I'm really hoping that they find him a good home. So, what is 9 p.m. my time? Well, right now it's 10 p.m. my time, for whatever that's worth. Uh, Now, let's see. Someone asked me, do I have any crazy ex girlfriends? Oh, my. Yes, I did. I had, oh boy. Okay. I probably shouldn't tell you her name because that would be bad. But the thing is that she was an alcoholic and she liked to do crack. Now, I didn't know this when I got together with her. All I knew is that she smoked, right? I don't smoke. I mean, I'm smoking, but I don't smoke. So, at one point when we were together, she said, "I want to show you something." And took me up to this part of Seattle, this like really sleazy part of Seattle, and bought crack from a guy just as the police were showing up. She hid the crack in her lip and we walked the hell out of there, right? And then she like goes back and smokes the crack in her apartment and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh gosh, I'm like really tired, so I fall asleep." I wake up the next morning and she's still up, right? And then we're talking. And at one point, her eyes roll up in the back of her head. She slumps against a door frame and goes, bam. Now, me, wide awake, wired on adrenaline, I get up and check her vitals, and her heart's beating, but she's not breathing. So I give her some mouth to mouth, grab the phone, call 911, give her some mouth to mouth again while they're answering, tell them what's going on, although I leave out the crack part. And like, I have to keep giving her mouth to mouth until the ambulance showed up. Now, when the ambulance showed up, they wouldn't let me go with them, despite being her significant other at the time. And wow, what is with people in the chat? Okay. So they, and then when she gets back, it turns out that it wasn't the crack, it was the brain tumor. She had a ganglioglioma in her left mesial temporal lobe, I want to say it was. It's been more than a decade. I don't remember the specifics. And so then she decides to break up with me. Well, at some point, we ended up getting back together just as she was about to have the tumor out. And this is one of those things where they cut that weird sort of curling shape and like peel it off of your head. And they had to shave her head for this. They pull out a bit of skull and like carve out the tumor, then put it back together and all that stuff. And when it was over, And I'm there to comfort her, to hold her hand through the whole hospital thing. And boy, was she in pain the whole time. You could see her doing this, like, oh my gosh, my head, right? And then once it was over and she was about to go home, she breaks up with me again. After all that time, I was supporting her in the hospital. And yeah, ever since then, we really haven't spoken, which is probably for the best. So that's probably my most psycho girlfriend. Anyway, so yeah, you ask if I've had any psychopath girlfriends. That was her. There have been times when I've kind of wanted to, I don't know, do something mean to pay her back, but I'm never gonna. I'm not that person. So wait, I'm your number one favorite solo lesbian live stream entertainer. How many of us are there? I suppose if you'd added atheist on there, I'm probably the only one. So yeah, but I'm glad that you like what I do. Thank you. The compliment is definitely good, pleasant. Thank you. I mean, sometimes I do wonder if I'm doing any good. But I've had people tell me that I've either broken them free from religion. One person told me that I actually helped them stop considering suicide, which is actually something that has happened to me twice. Once by complete accident. Like, I've tried to be a hand-drawn artist, and I'm not very good at it. I like to do the CGI instead. But I had drawn this sort of like knight in shining armor on some scrap paper and then like left it on the table or something. And my mom put it in because this was in high school. She put it in the scrap paper pile again, which is where we like write down phone numbers if someone would say like, hey, could I talk to, no, they're not there, okay, here's my phone number, right? And so she gave it to one of her mediation clients. Like, she wrote some information down on the one with the knight in shining armor. Now it turned out that he was dealing with substance abuse, and he had put that picture up on the wall and used it as inspiration, as strength. Like, every time he was going to have some booze, he looked at that and it gave him strength and it stopped him from killing himself. And I'm like, I drew that. I didn't mean to save a life with it, but yay, go me. So yeah. Well, okay, sure, I do lots of good, but how much of it is by accident? I don't mean to, right? So yeah. No, I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I probably should have heard about it, but yeah. So no, it is nice to know that I'm doing some good. It is nice. I mean, I have people that I'm gonna tentatively call fans. Thank you. I mean, a number of you say you love my videos. You've said good things about me, but I don't know. I mean, it's weird because, like, I mentioned earlier before that I have like absolutely no shame, except that there are times where if I tell people about the compliments I've gotten and I try to like say, yay, I'm doing good, some part of me is like, I gotta be humble about this shit, because there's YouTubers out there who are complete prats about how popular they say they are, and I don't want to be one of those. So yeah, when I say that I'm doing some good, I feel a little twinge. I'm like, I shouldn't be saying this. I don't want to come off too proud or something. So yeah. Uh okay. Well, I'm sort of running low on topics, which I hate to say, because there's someone here who just said first time actually catching a live stream, super excited. And if I end it now, I'm gonna feel like a jerk. But I really am running low on topics, and it is like 10:15, which is still kind of early, but at some point I should probably actually have dinner and then maybe go to bed. So, yeah, I'm actually starting to get kind of hungry. I haven't had anything to eat since, gosh, lunch, maybe. I suppose I could eat some pizza flavored goldfish, but how many of you want to watch me chew? How interesting is that going to be? Right? Also, I know I contemplated making this a like a drunken hangout, but if I haven't had food for a while, that shit's gonna hit me hard. So Yeah. Uh, I don't know. It's like, does anyone really want me to? Because I might. I don't know. Wait, that's a genre of videos on YouTube. You mean drunken videos are a thing on YouTube? That's a genre? Really? Oh, what do I do? What do you do at an atheism booth? Well, excuse me, for the most part, we sit on our asses and chat, really. But every now and then, someone walking by will either say, "Thank you, you're doing good, you're getting the message out." That's actually the majority of what we get. But then we'll get the folks who come up to us and say, like, start an argument or a debate or whatever, where they're going, "No, God is real. And here's the reasons why. Give me your reason." And we go back and forth. And some of the things people say are ridiculous. In fact, I have at least 2 videos on my channel of like people that have come up to the booth. There's this one where this guy like you start to get somewhere with him on the arguments, but once you start to get to a place where he might have to say maybe a God isn't real, he will, or God isn't real, he'll zip right back. Like it's called Around and Around in Balboa Park is that video. But then there's another one where there was this lady who insisted she could faith heal. And like it's one of the weirdest videos because she actually starts to tear up while she's trying to heal. Actually, it was someone else's wrist, not my wrist, because I wasn't hurt then. But someone else in our group had like some arthritic thing going on. He was like, "Can you heal me?" And because she said she could, and she goes into this prayer and starts like she doesn't bawl her eyes out or anything, but you can tell she's crying. So yeah, I don't know. So if you want to know what we do at an atheism booth, check out those videos. If you type in like Balboa, you'll probably find it. If you type in park, you'll probably find it. So okay, so purple rhymes with orange says that you've already got a bit of a buzz. I need to catch up. Well, all right, I'll tell you what. I'll do one shot and we'll see how it goes. Okay? One. Just one. So, here is the Captain Morgan. Let's pour slowly so I don't spill. Whoa. There's an Irish legend, and obviously I don't believe in legends, but it says that when you die, you are suspended head first into a barrel full of all the alcohol you've ever wasted. And if you drown, to hell with you. Yeah. So that's an amusing legend, but that's one of the reasons I don't like to spill booze is because it is a waste. Anyway, to clear the palate, I'm going to have some, what is this? Lime cucumber. Yeah. Lime cucumber Gatorade. It's a weird flavor. So, whoa. Okay. Why is Captain Morgan a brave thing? I don't know. Okay. Now, I don't usually believe in chasers either, but wow, that shit was powerful. I do like mixers, though. So, a sports drink called Body Armor. I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. Oh, have fun, Sato Babe? Sato Babe. I don't know. Well, I'll see you later. So, yeah, have fun. Not witness. I met you briefly at one point. I know you're in a foreign country. I want to say you're Australian, possibly New Zealand. Am I right? I don't know. But I know I encountered you recently. Australian. There we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was right the first time. Okay. So, no, I totally get why, like, I don't know a lot of Australians, but the few I've known, if they spilled any boot, yeah, I can see that philosophy being very Australian. I totally can. Have I ever been overseas or in another country? Well, I'm going to assume that Canada doesn't count because how many Americans have been to Canada, right? I used to live within screaming distance of the Canadian border. Like I was raised in Vermont, then lived in Seattle. But let's face it, unless you go to Quebec, Canada is basically just a colder version of the United States. I mean, it's different culturally a little bit, but come on. Now, I have never been like across the Atlantic. I've been across the Pacific, but to Hawaii. However, the other country I've been to besides Canada is Cuba, right? I was 13 years old. My parents and I and a bunch of other people drove up to Quebec, drove up to Montreal, and then flew from Montreal to Cuba. And we said we were reporters, and they let us in. Now, Cuba's an interesting place because the people are very friendly. The beaches are absolutely wonderful, and the food is terrible. If you've ever had Cuban food here in like the United States, it will be an amazing quality. Cuban food in the US is really good, but Cuban food in Cuba is really plain. It's not very good. So, yeah, but so I have been to Cuba. In fact, now, like I said, I have a lot of sort of dark and swarthy DNA going on in my, like we were talking about 23andMe earlier. I tan like nobody's business. You can see that is where my medic alert bracelet goes. You can sort of see. Yeah. Now the thing is, the only time, like I've sunburned twice in my entire life. And one of those times I had to be out in the sun in Cuba for 13 hours with no sunblock to sunburn. I'm really lucky when it comes to sunburns. So, yeah. I'm sorry, are you saying that yesterday they legalized pot through the entire US? Really? I missed that headline, but that's interesting. I have a friend here who like has a pot business. Oh, Canada. Okay. No, I know a guy. He lives in San Francisco now, but he has a weed business, and apparently he's doing really well. So he actually said that he can try to set me up with some that has exactly 0 THC in it, and it might help with my seizures. But as I mentioned earlier before, uh, like pot makes me feel really nasty. So even if it would help with my seizures, it would cause another problem entirely. So yeah. Uh I'm sorry, are you saying my channel is giggity? Because the only thing I know like giggity is from what is that that show that I don't watch. The one that Mike Judge does. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of the other one, Family Guy. Yeah, okay. Then what's the other one I'm thinking of? The one that's in Texas. I don't remember that one. But yeah, I don't know what it means if my channel is giggity. No, not American Dad. Uh wait. Yes, King of the Hill. That's what I'm thinking of. I missed a whole bunch of stuff here because you're saying read the comment before. Oh, I'd love to do a video with you. I can explain a lot of the psychology behind religion on your channel and not my giggity. I still don't know why my channel is giggity. Yes, ZZ Giant Awake. That's true. I was nude in a video once. There was a challenge. Like, I think there were a bunch of challenge videos going around. I think it was Got That Funk had this thing where like you're part of his challenge videos. And one of them was do a video completely naked. And like I was showing myself from here up because otherwise it would have gotten flagged. But before I did it, to prove that I was naked, I was standing up sideways and covering myself, and I sat down in a way that people could totally see I was wearing nothing, right? So, yeah, and then I forget what the topic was, but I did that video like that. Also, if you want to look for it, you can find, like I mentioned it before, video of me in the Fremont Solstice Parade on YouTube. You can't really see any details. You can just see someone going by on rollerblades, and that one's me. So, yeah, you can find that. Did I talk about stuffed animals? Okay. Okay. It's been a long time. It's been years. For those of you who don't know, I have a stuffed animal back there. His name is Howie. I'm terrified of dogs, and yet he's a dog. I don't know how that happened. And it's funny because I got him when I was like 11, 12, 13, or something, and my dad bought him for me, but almost didn't. Said he was like too expensive or something, but he could see I was attached to getting this dog, and he was like, okay. And I've had him ever since. I mean, most people don't believe that I'm 42. I am 42, and I've had that dog since my early double digits. So yeah, it was really, my dad got a great return on his investment. Let's just put it that way. But for those of you who don't know, because I like some of you seem to be incredulous here. Um, I, yeah, I'd show you my ID if it didn't have my address on it. But yeah, no, I was born in 1975, the very tail end. I saw 16 days of 1975. So yeah, but no, I'm terrified of dogs. I had a horrible incident when I was a toddler, right? Because there were two other like I wasn't the one who was mauled, but you watch two toddlers get mauled by a dog and see how you feel about those animals, right? In fact, I've been told that watching a mauling actually scars you more psychologically than being the mauling victim, right? So, yeah, but ever since that, and I don't even remember that. My parents had to tell me about it, but ever since that, I've seen dogs as fur-coated murder machines, and I can't do it. But for some reason, Howie grabbed me, and I had to have him. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I wonder what my life would be like if I liked dogs. But I mean, at the same time, I wouldn't want to have a dog because cats take care of their own business, but you got to walk a dog and pick up their dookie. And I don't want to do that. That's too much responsibility. So a cat is much easier to keep. They're easier to have on your lap. They're more cuddly. And honestly, if a cat misbehaves, they're easily punted. So yeah. And also, my Columbia definitely loves me. She's good people for sure. Even though sometimes she gets a little violent, but like apparently there's ways to pet her that she doesn't care for. And sometimes I manage to do it accidentally because she shifts. I don't know. So, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Anarchism democracy taken seriously. That's an interesting name for a person. Hmm. I'd actually almost want to know more about that. I mean, I'm not a fan of anarchy, but I don't know how that could go together with democracy. It's hard to take those two seriously together. I don't Well, I'm sorry. Yes, I did just notice that, but I haven't been like if I get on a topic, I kind of admit to ignoring the chat a little until I've finished. And then I go look in at the chat to see if there's anything new. So have I ever thought of making a Discord for my fans? Actually, kind of. See, for a long time, I sort of resisted Discord because I was like, what, another social media platform? I've already got Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all of that. I need another one? No. But the thing is that like I said earlier, I got involved in the Star Control Origins beta test, and they had a Discord server, which is actually like they have a message board, but the Discord is where it's much easier to talk to the developers, right? And so I started, like I said, screw it. And I went to Discord and actually don't find it super objectionable. I kind of like it. And so maybe I'll start a Discord. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how much I'd actually participate in it though. I mean, you guys could be there, but I don't know. I mean, actually, okay. Like I was saying, this makes this difficult, right? But I can type just fine. I don't know what the difference is exactly. Maybe it's because this feels much more upraised than a keyboard. But regardless, I can type just fine. So maybe until this heals, I can be on my Discord a lot. I don't know. Because right now I can't even work 3D Studio Max for very long without going, okay, this hurts like a motherfucker. Right. So, I mean, there's a lot I can't do right now. So maybe I'll set up a Discord just to chat with people all day. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll consider it. I'll consider it. Oh, I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Denan de Terra. You've never heard of Discord. It's very similar to what IRC used to be. It's basically just a website where people chat. It's kind of like what you're doing right now, actually. It's very similar. And well, that's that. So it's worth looking into. I'm kind of enjoying it now. Although the thing is that well, like I say, I'm on the Star Control Discord. I'm also on a couple of atheist community Discords. And it like I don't know if it's just that I'm awake at the wrong time or I'm in the wrong time zone or whatever it is, but people start being interesting when I'm not there. And it's very frustrating. So unless if I start a Discord, unless you guys are going to compensate for the fact that I am in a Pacific time zone, it might be difficult to actually have a lot of fun on a Discord with me. I'm just saying. I mean, what would you guys talk about if I'm not there? What would you guys talk about? I mean, are you gonna make fun of me? You're gonna talk about atheism? You're gonna talk about apistivism? What are you gonna do if I'm not there? I don't know. So yes, Discord is a somewhat better IRC. Now, it's funny, I bet a lot of people don't even know what IRC is because that was from a long time ago. It stands for Internet Relay Chat. And like I said, it's very similar to what you're doing now. So, yeah, you're right. A lot of people are on Eastern or Central time, and I'm not. So when I start doing these things, when I schedule these things, it's going to be inconvenient for a lot of people. By the same token, I have some friends in like New Zealand and I guess now Australia. And when I start one of these, they're actually like, what is it, like mid afternoon or some shit, and it actually works really well. So yeah, yeah. Sorry, what is this? Not going to give Nick and Charles a shout out. Who the frick are Nick and Charles? I mean, no, because I don't know who they are. So yeah, okay. What Nacho says about 3:30 p.m. So like I said, like mid afternoon. Columbia, stop it with the claws. Have I ever heard of Cretorn? No, I haven't. Okay. What do I think about buying from cat breeders? You mean like from like cat and puppy mills? Or do you mean from people who actually mean it and they're not doing it I mean they're doing it as a form of business, but they're not doing it like a factory. Is that what you mean? Cuz I don't know. I mean, if I wanted to get a cat and there was a cat breeder out there and what they did was just have a bunch of cats they treated really well until they could sell them, yeah, I'd buy from one of those. But if it's like a cat factory, forget it, not gonna happen. Okay, purple's rhyme story, not a problem for you. Insomnia can never get to bed before, but here's the thing, insomnia is nothing to lose sleep over. Sorry, had to do it. Let's see. Are there any movies I remember seeing when you were younger that you want to see again but can't remember the name? Ooh. Oh, no. No, I can't think of anything where I can't remember the name. There's a bunch that I want to see again that I haven't found, but can't remember the name. No, I mean, that happened a while back. It happens more with music, but no, can't remember the name. Gosh, I don't know. There was an anime a while back, right? Where Nausicaa, Valley of the Winds, it's a Miyazaki. Because what I remembered was a bunch of like really big bugs that looked like they could have been out of Dune, honestly. Like, those sandworms? Imagine an insect version. And also, I remember there were these two, like, there was a guy and a girl, it was a couple, and they're standing in this field of flowers that are like purple, but then a wind blows through, and on the other side, they're yellow. And so you can see them changing as the wind blows through. And I had no idea what the fuck that was. Right. And I described it to some people and they were like, oh, yeah, this is what it is. And I got a copy of it and I was like, oh, this is pretty good, too. But it's been a while since I've had one of those. It's been a really long time. Huh. Well, okay. Did I see Doctor Strange? No. I explained earlier that I've sort of burned out on superhero movies with a couple of exceptions. So no, I haven't seen Doctor Strange. I really do like I love Columbia, and Ivan was an experiment that didn't work out, and he was also not the cat I wanted, because in my life I've had a lot of monochrome cats. Either they're white or they're black or they're like white and black, or in Columbia's case white and brown. I've always wanted an orange kitty, like Garfield, right? An orange kitty. I've never had one. But when I went to the Humane Society, there weren't any. And as I understand it, black cats are the most rejected. And they end up getting like euthanized because no one brings them home. Now, Ivan was black with a little white tuft. And I figured, what the hell? Because he was really friendly when I got him. And yeah, so I don't know. I mean, he didn't work out, obviously. And I wish he had. But no, the next cat I get, and I'm probably not going to try for another one until Columbia dies. And that's going to be at least, I mean, she's like 9 years old. So probably another decade, maybe more. And so until that happens, I'm not getting another cat. When I do, I am looking for an orange kitty no matter what. No matter what. And okay, what is your name? Netra Amorosi. Netra Amorosi. No, I haven't seen the newest anime. I haven't actually watched a lot of anime in a while either. Mostly because, now this is going to sound so horrible. It really is. But I used to be really into anime back in the 90s. When I was in college, I thought anime was the coolest fucking thing I ever saw. Right? And I was part of like a fan subgroup. If you don't know what that is, fan sub was actually people who would subtitle anime that was not available in the United States, right? Where they'd take the anime and put their own subtitles on it, and then they'd make copies of, well, in this case it was VHS because DVD didn't exist yet, and they would distribute it. People would copy it with double VCRs and distribute it all over the place, right? And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. But then anime started to get popular, which honestly I thought would have been great. I thought it would have been great because like then Hollywood would have realized and started importing a whole bunch and all that stuff, and we would have gotten better dubbing than what they did to Akira, right? But but the thing is that the fandom started to turn into people that I didn't want to be associated with. I mean, all those cat girl fangirls shouting kawaii all over the place. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be seen with you. Right? I like the anime for the anime. And you seem to like it because it's like cat girl pop culture. Fuck that shit. Right? And so I kind of fell out of the anime scene. And I haven't seen much since like 2000-ish, I guess. So no, I haven't seen the newer stuff. Okay, do I like any non-anime Japanese movies or TV shows? I'm not even sure if I've seen any that aren't anime. I'm sure I must have, but nothing's coming to mind. Sorry. But yeah, and okay, there's a bunch of Japanese music that I really like. If you get the chance, go find a song by a band called Every Little Thing. Write this down. Every Little Thing. It's called Dear My Friend. I love the fucking shit out of that song so much. It's on my rollerblading list. It is perfect for rollerblading, right? It's also, it would be good for like a really upbeat sci-fi dogfight, like Star Wars style. If you're not trying to be stressful, if you're just trying to say like this is a thrill, no, let's put it this way. No, not Star Wars. This would have been great in Top Gun, right? So seriously, Dear My Friend by Every Little Thing. You find that, you will fucking love it. Seriously, it's a great song, right? So yeah, just saying. Akira Kurosawa, I don't think I've seen anything by Kurosawa. I don't think I have. Or if I have, wait a minute. Did Kurosawa do Seven Samurai? Was that his? It's going to be a while till someone says yes, but yeah. So okay, yes, that was okay. I have seen Seven Samurai, although I have to say, was it Battle Beyond the Star or Battle of the? Is it Battle of the Planets or Battle Beyond the Stars? Battle of the Planets is the cartoon show. No, Battle Beyond the Stars was a better version of Seven Samurai. I have not seen the Magnificent Seven, though, the Western version, but you know me in sci-fi. So, yeah. No, when I saw Seven Samurai, I thought it was okay, but it was very old and black and white and all that shit. I don't know anything about the recent stances the Jesuits are taking on issues like poverty and immigration. I can't remember the last time I saw anything about Jesuits. I like that is the first time I've seen that name in a very long time. So, yeah, sorry. Let's see. A bunch of people said other stuff. I want to see what it is. Darling in the Franks is one of those low end cat girl crap. Well, see, okay, a part of the problem is like a couple of people, again, I love my YouTube subscribers. You guys send me stuff, but some of you sent me some anime that is so not my style. It's like really dark, and I don't do dark. I like my entertainment to be upbeat because sometimes my life is dark and I need a break from it. Like, okay, some of you might make fun of me for this because it's Adam Sandler, but the movie I watch, like if I'm depressed to shit, I watch The Wedding Singer. And most of that is because it's the 80s. And like it's set in the 80s. And I love the 80s. The 80s were such a fun time. Everything was either neon or pastel colored. And like people are happier in like the entertainment. You don't have that angst that came out in the 90s. And it's just a fun movie. So if I'm ever depressed to shit, I will watch The Wedding Singer and it makes me a lot happier. So when someone sends me some really like dark, brooding, angsty anime, I appreciate the gesture, but it's not for me, right? Now, one thing that I should mention that I think is really cool, I haven't watched The Wedding Singer in close to 2 years, right? Which means that my mood has been pretty upbeat. Okay. So, yeah, in a weird way, I missed the movie. I should probably just watch it for its own merits. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, totally 80s geek. Yeah, which is one of the reasons I love Ready Player One so much. I mean, that show or that movie and the book are dripping with the 80s. So yeah. No, that's why I say, yeah, Battle Beyond the Stars is the movie. Battle of the Planets is actually anime unto itself. So opinion on the Marx Brothers, have not seen much to say, but I love Groucho's sense of humor. I really do. It's well, actually, I mean, like I have a shelf of YouTube props, and I haven't used most of them in a while, except for the That's a Paddle paddle. But I have a fake cigar that I will often use or used to whenever I would tell a joke or make a sarcastic remark in sort of like a Groucho style. I just sort of, yeah, and I should use it more. I haven't done enough humor in my videos, but yeah. So, okay, someone's saying I should watch the series The Almighty Johnsons. I don't know. No, I have not watched Naruto. I haven't. Let's see. If I should list my favorite anime, let's say like Akira, Ranma One Half, Project A-ko, Gunbuster. Okay, I hate that Hollywood changed this shit to Fooly Cooly. It's Furikuri, right? F-U-R-K or F. Fuck, I can't spell right now. Furi, so Furikuri, Furikuri. It's not Fooly Cooly. What the fuck? Yeah, FLCL. I don't even know how they want that one pronounced, but in Japanese, it's Furikuri. So yeah, I like that one a lot. And I've never understood people's obsession with Cowboy Bebop. I wasn't into Cowboy Bebop. And like I said, Nausicaa, Valley of the Winds, and Kiki's Delivery Service is great. There's another one. I'm trying to remember what it is where I only, oh, well, gosh, how could I forget this? My absolutely most favoriteest anime in the entire Western universe is Iria. I love Iria. And there's a wall scroll over that. I don't know if you can see it. No, the light is, yeah, that's Iria right there. Right. It's if you've ever seen, it's actually based on a live action movie called Zaram. And Iria is like everything that takes place before that live action movie. So yeah, Dragon Ball Z. I've never really watched Dragon Ball Z. I saw one episode And I was so unimpressed because there were these two guys. They're standing on these things that look like asteroids that are floating or something, but they got flat tops. And they're just screaming at each other through the whole episode. Like they're getting ready to fight. And they never do. They're just standing there on these asteroid things, screaming at each other. And I'm like, this is boring as shit. I don't want to watch this. So, yeah, no, I've never watched more than that episode of Dragon Ball Z. Not my thing. Not my thing. But I'm trying to remember. There was another, I think it's Miyazaki. I don't know. Because I mentioned Nausicaa and I've mentioned Kiki's Delivery Service. And I swear there's another one. Oh, well. Oh, well. Trigun was okay. No, not into Princess Mononoke. I don't understand people's obsession with that either. And I've never seen Spirited Away. I think I saw a little bit of Ninja Scroll. Oh gosh, we're so going off on anime right now. I'd rather not. Oh, but somebody sent me this. I think it's called Last Exile, and I really should get into it because what this looks like, it looks like it's diesel punk. And I actually really enjoy diesel punk. For those of you who don't know, like you've probably heard of steampunk, right? Well, diesel punk takes place around about World War II-ish. Like Iron Sky and Sky Captain, The World of Tomorrow, those are diesel punk, right? I actually prefer Ray Punk and Atom Punk, which again, hard to describe. I mean, like Atom Punk takes place around about, say, like the 60s, where everyone is obsessed with atomic power and they think it's the coolest thing ever. And so then you get like sort of sci-fi and action based around nuclear power, basically. And there's a lot of like sort of architectural styles that go with it. Like if you ever heard of Googie, which is a weird word, but it's actually very similar to the architectural style in The Incredibles, to bring us back to that. But I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. Now, Ray Punk is basically like sci-fi, space opera type stuff. Very sort of similar to Buzz Lightyear. Definitely the Jetsons are Ray Punk like you wouldn't believe. That sort of thing. It's like lots of fins on stuff, rings around everything. People are wearing clothing with pictures of an atom or a ringed planet on them. That's Ray Punk, right? So yeah, it's well, anyway, so that Last Exile it looks very diesel punk to me, and so I really should finish watching it at some. Okay, Fallout is kind of diesel punk, but it's post-apocalypse more than diesel punk. Really? Plus, it's got a fair amount of atom punk built into it too, because there's a lot of atomic power going on. I think if I had to choose, if I had to say what Fallout is, I'd call it post-apocalypse. I would not necessarily classify it as diesel or atom punk. So, yeah. Did I like the Snorks? I know I watched the Snorks back in the day, but I don't remember if I liked it or not. I know I didn't hate it. Okay. Would I upload my consciousness into a robot? Probably not. But here's the thing. I don't think you can just upload your conscience, right? I could copy it to a robot, but I can't just like upload it and now it's me in the robot body. I think the only way to accomplish this, because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can tell, based on all the evidence I've ever heard, the self is a product of the meat computer we call a brain, right? So if I were to put myself into a robot, the only way I can think to do it would be to make my brain mechanical. And the only way I know to do that is if we invented some sort of nano machines where they could go in and like synapse by synapse replace the brain with something mechanized while maintaining continuity of thought. And then you could take that now mechanical brain and put it into the robot body, and then you could be a robot. Would I do that? Yeah, I might. So I think that's how you have to do it. Now, I mean, if that's what you meant, if you just wanted to know, would I make myself a robot? Sure, I'd do that. So yeah, but I mean, just digitizing your mind isn't enough because that would just be a copy, It would not be me. It would not be my consciousness. In fact, in a weird way, I kind of did a video about this. I haven't touched the series in a while, and I really ought to make a new one, but I have so many animation projects on the spike, it's not even funny. But I did a series a while back called Rational Station, where, you know, the character Sandra that I used to have as, like, before I got back on camera, she was like emoting for me. Like, I'd say something and she'd do emotion or whatever. And she has her robot companion, Dewey. Well, the 6th episode of that series that I did, I actually, like, I had improved her model because the first one got into the sort of uncanny valley area. Her eyes were too big. She was kind of ugly. And so I wanted to redo her, but I wanted to sort of have a kind of continuity of plot so that it wasn't just, oh, hey, a new model, right? So what I did was I made up this sort of story where the station, Rational Station, had been attacked. And both Sandra and Dewey were in an escape pod that gets picked up by another ship, sort of similar to what happened with Ripley in Aliens, right? And then they discover her, and she's in a cryogenic capsule, but she's dead inside, right? I mean, she hasn't rotted because it is cryogenic, but she's dead. And so what they did was they cloned her and made some improvements, thus explaining the model. But because she's a completely new life form, what they had to do was basically copy the consciousness in the original's brain and put it into the new one. But because the brain was a different physical organism, it had to be like a different self, a different consciousness. And that's like the whole theme of that episode of Rational Station. So if you want to go looking for it, go looking for it on my channel. It's pretty cool. So yeah. Um, so I did cover that subject a little bit. That's my thing. Well, I mean, okay, you're saying the continuity issue is big for you too. One of the things that people have often talked about with Star Trek is the transporter and how it probably kills the person who's being transported. Well, I don't really know because I haven't looked into it. I haven't researched it. I'm sure that there is like a lot of Star Trek lore that describes it, explains it, but I'm not really sure how the transporters work in Star Trek. Now, if it's the original atoms of the person being transferred down to the planet and they're reorganized in the same order, then I'd say that the person is still alive and it's still them, right? But if it's something where like the person is reconstituted from atoms on the planet, then they're probably dead. Unless the molecules are stored on the starship, and then when they transport back, the old ones are used to recreate the original person. I don't know. So yeah. Okay, you're asking here, are there any videos I've done that I wish I hadn't or done very differently? Yes. There was a sort of not animation, sorry, a collaboration project that a bunch of us did a while back. Like I think the one who inspired it was Dark Matter 2525, where we were trying to sort of mess with people somehow by creating a rumor that, like, we were making videos where we were all denying the rumor without saying what it was. And I forget what the point was. The point was to, like, I think it was to see how people can be trolled or something, and to explain to them why they should not react badly to it or something. I don't remember. But the thing is that I wish I hadn't been part of that project, because when it was over, a bunch of people like had to apologize for it because they thought it was a horrible thing. Personally, I thought that the idea was good, the concept was good, we just didn't pull it off properly. And so I decided I didn't want to apologize for it. I want to admit that I had gotten it wrong, but I didn't want to say I'm sorry that we had tried it. And people took really unkindly to that. They thought that I was being an asshole for it. And looking back on it, I mean, I still think that in principle, it was a good idea what we were trying to do. Although, like I said, I kind of forget what it was. I just remember how I felt at the time. But I kind of wish I had never agreed to participate in the first place. I think that actually really hurt my YouTube career for quite a while. So yeah. Yeah. Um, Wait, what do you mean I liked dark matter? I thought I mean, I still do think dark matter is pretty cool. What? Why would you think I didn't think he was nifty? Wait, you want me to talk to you more? I've been doing this for almost 2.5 hours. How much longer do you want me to do it? I'm just saying. I mean, if someone has a subject they want me to cover, I'll start looking at other shit. But right now, I am running out of stuff to talk about. Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay. Danana de Terra. I cannot pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Is asking me how close I am to finishing my new Yahweh character. I've been building an animated god, right? In fact, I went on to Facebook and also asked a few theists I knew in person what color God's eyes are, because I wanted to get that correct in this animated character I'm building. And no one had an answer for me. They all said, well, God doesn't have a physical form. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but there's paintings of the guy. In those, what do you think his eyes should be? I did my own research instead of asking, and almost every painting I can find of God says they're brown, right? So I have been working on that, but again, I got hurt, and it's difficult to work because again, this is a right-handed trackball. It is very difficult to build an animated character. So I don't know how close I am to finishing. Maybe when I get to physical therapy and this is taken care of, I can start working on them again. But I've also mentioned that I have a bunch of animation projects on the spike. And basically what I do, because animation projects can take quite a while. Before you can even begin animating, you have to build all the characters, all the sets, any objects they're going to pick up, any vehicles they're going to ride in, et cetera, et cetera. It takes for freaking ever. And after a while, you can get bored or frustrated. And it's like, I don't want to work on this anymore. But rather than abandon it, I've basically said, okay, I'm going to take a break from this and go on to a different project. And so I've got like 4 or 5 that I'm working on right now. And so if I have to take a break for making that God character, I'm going to work on something else for a while and then get back to it eventually. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Someone asked facial hair on men, my opinion. Well, I don't really care much, really. There's some I find pretentious, I guess, but it's not a subject about which I think much. Although there is this one guy, if you've ever seen Orange is the New Black, there's that one character, one of the guards in the prison. They call him Porn Stash because he totally has this mustache that makes him look like a porn star. It makes him look really sleazy. And there's this one guy at my board game night, my weekly board game night, who for a while had a freaking porn stash. And so now he's shaved it off, but we still call him Porn Stash now. So it's sort of his nickname. But other than that, I don't really care. I don't really care. The best way to support me as a fellow SoCal, I don't know, just watch my videos and up thumb them. I mean, you could be a Patreon patron if you like. I don't know, but it's not necessary. I mean, I don't need a lot of support right now. Like I say, I'm making an okay living off of Patreon. And again, if you're a patron, thank you very much for that. You're helping me out a lot. Without your support, I couldn't keep doing this. So again, thank you. But otherwise, I mean, I don't need much. Maybe if you have a hyperspace capable starship, that would help. Or William Shatner's head on a spike, or the still beating hearts of my enemies. I'll take that. But otherwise, just watch and up thumb my videos so that they get recommended to more people. If you want to really support me in a non-monetary way, in a non-Patreon way, that's the best way to do it. So, thanks. Are we doing soda now? What the hell are you talking about? Are we talking about drinking again? Because I got to tell you, this shot didn't really take. So I suppose I could do another one, or I could keep drinking this. What is it? Lime and cucumber. Can you see that label? It's lime and cucumber Gatorade, which is a weird flavor, but it's actually kind of tasty. Making fun of Code Orange. I'm lost, dude. What the hell's Code Orange? I don't know. But cherry spiced rum. I don't know that. Oh, Code Orange. Are you talking about Orange is the New Black? I don't know. Okay, you've had cucumber soda, but have you had celery soda? Because there's this stuff called Dr. Brown's Celery that is so freaking good. You wouldn't think it, but it's celery soda and it is so good. I mean, like it's so hard to find in person. I can't find it like in retail. I have it on my Amazon wish list. That's like it. It's kind of expensive, but yeah, I love celery. It is so good. Okay, you say I'm reading things way behind, but there's a delay on like between me saying stuff and you guys reacting to it in chat. So I'm gonna be behind. Okay, I know, yeah, celery soda sounds horrible. It is really good. Just trust me, it's really good. If you ever encounter celery, try it. Right? Here, let me type it in. Celery. Like that. Seriously. The only place I know to find it right now is on Amazon. If you go to a health food store, you're more likely to find it than a grocery, like a proper grocery, like a chain store, right? So yeah. Okay. I only recently discovered I like pastrami. Like I hadn't tried it yet. I don't know why. It's kind of like for years I didn't try pesto. But there is this coffee shop near me. It's actually where I have my like I said my weekly game night that serves this pesto sandwich where you can put like all these different ingredients on it. And I usually get it with pastrami and either like provolone or Swiss, and then lettuce, tomato, and sometimes onion. They do it like on panini, the ciabatta style, where they put it in that press thing, and like that's the only way I can eat provolone cheese is if it's melted, because otherwise it's nasty. And it is so freaking good though. This like pesto, pastrami, provolone, lettuce, tomato, sometimes onion, such a good sandwich. So yeah, yeah. My favorite alcoholic drink, dude, Captain Morgan. Yeah. Do I listen to comedians? Yes, I do. Naturally, of course, my favorite's George Carlin, but I love Christopher Titus, Patton Oswalt, Emo Phillips, and Stephen Wright are my favorites. And Steve Martin, but I haven't seen him do stand up in quite a while. So yeah, no, dude, I don't hate on provolone. I hate on raw provolone. If it's been melted, it tastes good, but otherwise, it smells like someone vomited. So yeah, let's see. Redhead metal singers like Code Orange. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know Code Orange. Yeah. Oh, night with the whole heading to bed thing. Catherine Ferguson. Sleep well and dream of large women. So yeah. No, I'm not into stinky cheese. My favorite cheese of all time is Emmentaler. It's a kind of Swiss. So tasty. Oh my gosh. I could just like eat slices of Emmentaler. Just it's really good. Yeah. So no, I don't know this cherry spiced rum. I just have the regular Captain Morgan. Also, Sailor Jerry is good too. It's a lot like Captain Morgan. It's just different. Spicy. Well, it depends on what you mean by spicy. I mean, I like something with a lot of garlic in it. I like Indian food. Of course, I can't have it now because curry has ginger in it, but like weapons grade hot Indian food. There's a place near me. It's Saigon on Fifth, it's called, that does this like spicy chicken fried rice. And if you tell them like max it out, it's really good. So yeah. But I do like that. Like before, again, it's a seizure trigger, but I could have ginger years ago, and lots of ginger in something is so good. So yeah, I love that. Um, Kraken. I've had Kraken. I don't really remember it too well. It's okay. Yeah. Actually, you know, it's funny. You mentioned 65% of humans are lactose intolerant. I get this milk called Lactaid, where they've like broken down the lactose into more harmless elements or whatever. And it's actually, I like the lactose free milk better than regular milk. It just tastes better. In fact, if you get the like whole milk, the not the non-fat shit, not the 2% shit, but the actual like whole lactose free milk, it's like drinking cake. It is so good. It really is. So, yeah. Um anyway, uh I like that stuff. I'm starting to think it might be time to go to bed. I don't know. It's 11. Actually, no, I mentioned before I haven't even had dinner yet. So I should probably go and get some food in me and then seriously consider bed. So, um I'm gonna catch you evil geniuses later. Have fun. This has been interesting. At some point, I'm gonna have to get someone else in the stream because it is a lot easier to have a back and forth chat without having to come up with the topics all myself or look at. See ya.